Hey everyone, back again here. I'm going to actually go over fors, foreaches, and switches. We're going to be starting off on our ninth tutorial here for the PHP for basics. Already have the file created, so let's get going. So, let's start it off like our normal PHP file, which I accidentally added a space here. Alright, so say if you need to do a loop or you have multiple calculations that you need to do over and over again a couple of times before you output or go to your process, you'd use a for. Fors allow you to define a variable which then you can calculate, you can repeat until that variable hits a certain number. For example, I have a for. Now, how for does is you define the variable that you're going to use, what the parameters are that it's going to be true till, and then how do you want to increment it. So in this case, I'm going to use I because it's just an increment, so I for increment. I is equal to 0. So we're going to start off at 0. Now, I did a semicolon to break apart each parameter for the for. So the first parameter is defining the variable that we want to use. The next parameter is going to be actually defining what is going to be true or false. So we want I, if I is less than 10, okay, I don't have to add spaces here, but you can. I'm going to do that here just for safety. Alright, so now I have I is less than 10. So I is automatically 0 first, and then I have I is less than 10. So long as it's less than 10, this will loop. Next, I set a semicolon again, and now I need to find how I want to increment it. In this case, I'm going to go I plus plus. That means it says an increment by 1. I can always go I is equal to I plus 5 if I really wanted to too. But in this case, I wanted to actually increment by 1. Because why go by 5? I don't need to go by 5 in this case. I have no reason to go by 5, so what does I increment that by 1? Now, what do we want it to do while it's in our for? Now, as long as I is less than 10, it's going to always be good. So we're just going to do another random number here. We're going to go equal random. We're going to go, oops, rand. 0 to 10. Okay. Now, first off, I'm going to show you just how for works. You're going to see it echo multiple times. So, echo. We're going to echo random. And we're going to make a new line break for each one. So, if we go down to our page here, basics 9, click refresh, 6, 8, 6, da. Now, we're going to do an if statement here, just to kind of show you that you can actually reset this variable that I is using and that it's incrementing by 1. You can go if random equal to, and let's go 6 or, so the two lines equal or, random is equal to 5 or random is equal to 0. We want to minus off of I. So I minus. So let's go here real quick. Okay, so do I have 10 numbers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I went up to 14 now with this if statement. That's just basically what I'm doing is showing you that I, which is set to 0 at the beginning of the for, can actually still be modified while inside the for, so in case you need to go longer. So currently it's only go 10 times. Since it started at 0, it's going up to 10. As you can see, I said it has less than 10, so it ain't going to run on the 10th, it's going to run on the 9th. Last time it's going to run is at 9. But since I'm starting at 0, it equals up to 10 numbers. The next thing that you see as I do is I just go, okay, well, if I hit one of these numbers, I want it to minus off. So basically, instead of adding, which it did whenever it did the for, it's minusing 1 off, so it repeats again. So it doesn't hit 10 as quick. It's how this for is being used. And it's great for loops if you want to make sure multiple calculations or you need to run out of parameter. The next thing I'm going to show you is a Foreach. This is used off of arrays, in which it allows you to expand them and you can output data from it. So, first off, we're going to have to create an array for this. So, I'm just going to name it array. We're going to go array. I'm going to do this a couple of ways. We're going to go 10, cat, and then we're going to go, what else should I do? We're going to go dog. And we're going to say it's going to equal to woof. Now, next thing I'm going to do is actually make a make a actually multi-array here. So we have a little bit of a double array. Kind of just show you how that goes. So we're going to go array again. We can set a key to this. So we're going to go sub is our key. And I didn't show you this actually in the tutorial, but I showed you a different way of making a multi-array, and this works just the same. Let me close that here. Okay, we're going to have sub, so we're just going to go 1, 3, 5, and 10. Just to keep it a little bit simple there. Now what I did is, most of these don't have it, so it's going to be 0, 1, dog, 4, or sub. And then it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3 off of that. Now, the for each allows you to expand array. It's great if you need to pull out an index or you need to output multiple data because you don't know where the data exactly is, or you know what the keys are but you don't know how to get the data since it's a multi-array, so it has subs in it. The first thing I'm going to do is echo out a basic array. So we're going to go for each, one word. Alright, so for each is going to be define what the array is, so we're going to say array, since that's a variable that has our array. And there's two ways you can do this. As value. And what this does is only pulls out the value and not out the key. Now the next thing you want to do, say if you need to know what the key is, you can go array as key is equal to value. So whatever the key is. So this would, in this case, the first one would be 0, second one would be 1, and so on. And I'll actually show you this. We're just going to do a basic echo. Let me set an H tag here. Echo H1 for each. Just want to make this a little bit easier to see. Alright, so we're going to go here. We're just going to go echo. We're going to go key is going to be key. So we're going to call the value. And then next, let's just break it up like that. Value is going to be equal to value. And continue one more time, so we do a line break. You can use p tags instead of line breaks if you really want to. And let's just indent this to show you that it's underneath it. So now if I run this, it's going to give me every key. The one that's going to throw an error on is this one because it's actually an array. I can't echo out an array, see? But as you can tell from my values, 0 is going to be 10, 1 is going to be cat, dog is going to be wolf, sub is going to be array since it has a subarray. Now, the next thing you can do is, say if you had a subarray of an array and you need to be able to pull that, you can go if is underline array, and we're going to go value since that's what's going to be an array. A key can't be the array. We're going to do that. Else, we're going to output here. Okay, so right now I have it checking if it's an array. If it's right, it does nothing at the moment. So what we need to do is two different things. We can either output the full array, or we can go single-handedly off the array. So I'm going to actually go single-handedly off the array. So I'm going to go for each again. We're going to go value as key2 is equal to value 2. And as you can tell, I clicked the number sign. Value 2. So let's do a loop through this. So we already know what our key is, so we're going to need to name it as a subkey. So we're going to go echo. Actually, we can go right here. Copy this real quick. Push that there, and we're going to push it actually right above this, because I want to be able to know what my main key is. My primary key was. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go subkey. This is a sub of the primary key, and we're going to go sub value. And we need to change that to 2 and change that to 2. Now, as you can tell, I'm defining that I know it's going to have a multi-array only this far. Now, if you have sub-multi-arrays, you might need to do a check that goes, okay, if this is array, run this command, which does that array again. Now, please be aware, you do not want an infinite loop if you have tons of freaking arrays underneath each other. Just a heads up on that. So, I'm going to show you what's on the output here now. There we go. As you can tell, my number shifted again because I didn't get the numbers I normally do. I think I actually have 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So I never hit any of the 6, 5, or zeros. Anyways, back to the for eaches. We have our keys. So we go 0, 10, 1 cat, dog, wolf, sub. Sub doesn't have a value because it's an array. So now we have a subkey of 0. Subkey of 0 has a value of 1. Subkey of 1 has a value of 3, and so on. So that's how you use a for each to pull out your arrays and everything you need. Now the last thing I want to show you is a switch. Now we're getting random numbers up here, so I'm going to actually just grab this and bring it down here, because I want to show you how a switch works. I showed it in a previous tutorial, but I never actually defined or told you how it works and what you can do with it. So we're going to go H1, we're going to go switches. H3. Oop. I need to end it with H2 tag. Anyways. So let's output this here. Okay. So we're going to actually keep our echo here. We're going to keep our echo random. I don't need it to minus because this one I'm showing you switches. Alright, so what we're going to have it do is echo random. After it echoes random, we're going to have it do a switch that finds out what that random number was. So we're going to go switch here. Now, switch requires a value. A value has to be input. It cannot be an array. It has to be a string or a number, something that it can use as validation. So most likely it's going to be a string or a number, numerical. So we're going to go random. Alright, now switch, you can have a default. I'm going to show you the default first because this is the fallback. So default, that means I don't have to define a value for it to be. It's going to always come back to this. We're going to go echo default case. Now, if I do this right here, and actually I need to do a BR so I can line break. We're going to see a refresh here. Okay, so I got 7744. I have no other cases at the moment. I just did my default. So now I need to define a case. So let's go up here and let's go case. If our number is, we're going to go 6. Okay, if our case number is 6, we're going to go here. We're going to go echo case 6 met. That's all I'm going to set there. So if I refresh here, we'll see if we hit that. Okay, so as you can see, we got case 6 met, but default case popped up underneath it. That is because I didn't break. So since I didn't break, it's going to grab the next set of case. The next case in this case. That's a lot of cases. And that's going to be the default. That's what's underneath it because I didn't break. When you do a break, it means in that case, nothing else can happen underneath it. So I can go right here and go break. Let's see if we can get a 6 here again. Okay, there we go. So now we got our 6 again. As you can see, it says case 6 met, and there's nothing that says default case underneath it. That's because I broke. I didn't make it continuous. It's like breaking out of a while loop if you have one of those. And I haven't gone into detail on those either. But if you know a little bit of programming, a while loop, you can keep on looping and then you have to break it if you want to get out. Or you have some form of a function to stop it. Now what happens if I want multiple cases to happen? What happens if I want multiple cases to be 1? So I can actually go case of 5. And actually, I don't have to set those parameters around it. Case of 4. Let's just break that real quick. I did a double. We can go echo case multi-case met. Multi-case selected. The only reason why I say multi-case is selected is because I have 2 cases. It can either be a 5 or it can be a 4, and it'll echo out this text. So if I refresh here, there we go. So I had one number 6, which is case 6 met. Oh, I had 2 case 6 met, and then I had a multi-case. I only had 1 multi-case in this case. Now, say if I wanted that multi-case to pop up, and then I wanted the case 6 parameters to pop up, I can actually remove this break, like it errored out on the first time we did this. Do refresh. There we go. So I can say multi-case was selected, and then I wanted my case 6 function to happen at the same time. I can do that. And these don't have to be in any specific order. I can actually go and copy this up right here. And move this down here. So if I hit a case of 5 or 4, it's only going to echo out multi-case instead of case 6. So the case 6 will echo out both. And then 4 will only echo out multi-case. That's because it didn't hit the first case to be able to echo out the first part. In this case, case 5 and 4 only echoed out multi-case. So I actually just flipped the roles here, so it actually worked out a little bit better. And that's how you use switches. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, send me a message, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here, and thanks for watching.